Is this ice barrel really worth $1,200?
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
The No Fake channel, checking in. Jonathan here, and today I am plunging into the ice barrel, a cold therapy tool to quickly and easily bring cold baths into your daily routine. I'm going to go over the pros, the cons, the alternatives, and help you decide the best techniques and tools to administer those amazing ice baths. But first, what's in the box? What's in the box? The ice barrel does come with a stabilizing base. It comes with this 105-gallon barrel that comes in two colors, tan and black. It also has a spigot for easy draining, and that spigot does have a garden hose attachment, allowing you to make sure that you put that water, when you do drain it, where you want, and you don't have a crazy mess. It also has this step stool. It has this top, and it came with this black cover as well as instructions. 15 seconds and exactly 15 seconds to give you the stats on the ice barrel. Made in the USA out of food grade plastic. It is 42 inches high, 31 inches wide, and has an opening of 25 inches. It has a capacity of 105 gallons, a weight of 55 pounds, and it has a lifetime warranty. Forever. Retail price of $1,200, but there are coupons out there to bring it down to $1,075 with free shipping, and we'll get more into that price tag a little later in today's video. The setup and use process is fantastically easy. When you first get it in, you do want to clean it out with a mild soap or detergent just to clean out that inside. Next, you want to fill up the ice barrel to about 80 gallons. That's not all the way to the top. It gives you room to get in without all that water spilling out. And I would argue less water is better, because the lower the amount of water you have in there, the easier it is going to be to get cold. Here in the wintertime that I'm shooting this, that's not an issue, but in the summertime, that will be a factor. Then you add Epsom salt. Now, the reason I add Epsom salt is three-part. Number one, it will lower the freezing temperature of the water from 32 degrees Fahrenheit down to about 27 degrees Fahrenheit, which is great, especially in the wintertime. Number two, Epsom salt is going to keep that water fresh. You really don't want stagnant water sitting around for too long. This added salt content is just going to keep it a little bit longer so that it's not going to get wonky or smelly on you. Third reason is that, hey, Epsom salt's just good for the skin, good for the pores, and overall it's just healthy. You will eventually need to drain and re-clean the ice barrel. I personally have found the 6-week mark, especially because I add that Epsom salt in, to be ideal. Why bother taking ice baths in the first place? Maybe it's because you saw a Wim Hof special. Maybe you just want to look cool on Instagram. Or maybe you thought it was going to help you improve your muscle recovery and get better gains. And unfortunately, none of those are really good reasons. Studies have shown that taking ice baths will not actually improve your muscle recovery. Now, the good thing about ice baths, at least for me and what's been shown in studies, is that you get a very big, dramatic mood improvement almost instantaneously after coming out of that ice bath. You are going to have a grin on your face for probably the next hour. It just drops that dopamine into your system and makes you feel fantastic. Ice baths have been shown to improve circulation, help brown fat activation as your body tries to create internal heat to fight off that ice bath, and it has been shown to boost your metabolism. Now, I am 190 pounds, I'm 6'1", and I've got a 34-inch waist. I didn't find that 25-inch opening at the top constrictive at all. I slid right in there. If you are a larger individual, I could absolutely see that being a pinch point and being uncomfortable and just downright being nerve-wracking in terms of maybe getting stuck. But for most people, it's going to be just fine. I thought the depth of the ice barrel was ideal. Now, I'm 6'1", so take that with a grain of salt. If you're 5'1" or maybe 6'8", keep that in mind. But I was able to get in and without having to crunch up my knees to my chest, easily able to get that water right up into my neck region. Easy peasy, chop chop lollipop. One thing that is far easier in the ice barrel versus a tub or a bath is actually submerging your head. In a tub, you either have to go front forward and kind of just dunk your head, or you've got to lean back and water gets up your nose when you put your head back all the way back. In the ice barrel, you can just sit down low and let the water kind of submerge your head. The ice barrel is 100% plastic and isn't designed to have any type of insulation, which means that there's nothing going to be keeping out the heat of the summer, and there's not anything that's going to be keeping out the cold of the winter. Does the ice barrel keep the water from freezing? For those of you that live in the northern region, like I do here in New England, it's currently 8 degrees out this morning. It's been below freezing for over 24 hours. Now let's see how the water situation is. Keep in mind, I put in 10 pounds of salt, and that will lower the freezing temperature below 32 degrees. Let's see. Absolutely rock solid. So if you live in the colder regions, keep in mind that the ice barrel is not going to prevent the water from freezing. Now the ice barrel does come with a handy dandy cover. Unfortunately, there's nothing special about this cover whatsoever. The only purpose of this cover is to prevent the sun from hitting the plastic and essentially bleaching out the plastic and degrading the plastic with the UV rays. That's it. There's no insulation purposes, and I really wish they put a little bit more quality into the overall cover, allowing you to get just a tad bit more insulation, especially during those warmer months. And the biggest complaint I had about the ice barrel was frankly getting out of it. Now, I think when I add a bit more water to the ice barrel to bring that level up higher, it's going to make that a little bit easier for me. But overall, it is a bit of a process to step out and to step down onto the step stool when you are literally super duper frigid. We can't properly do an ice barrel review video without talking about the competition. So let's talk about the cheapest of the cheap, and that is temporary baths. Oftentimes you'll see these on Amazon and you'll see them in your social media feed, and they come in between $0 and $200. There's a ton of them out there. The negative side of these is that they are extremely flimsy. They're usually not deep enough to actually get your body in all the way up to your neck without feeling like you're being put into a suitcase. And over time, they just don't hold up. On the flip side of that, you've got the $5,000 plus cold plunge tubs that are a permanent fixture. They've got hardware designed to keep that water moving and to keep it at an extremely cold level. Two good alternatives to the expensive options that are out there. Number one is a water trough used to actually feed livestock. It is a relatively open design. It comes in 100, 150, and 300 gallon sizes. I have used the 100 gallon size, and at my frame, no problem. Easy to get in, easy to get out, and you are able to kind of submerge your head if you angle your body correctly. I will tell you that they come in between $110 and $180 depending on demand and depending on where you buy them, but they are heavy duty and they will hold up, and they have an opening at the bottom to drain the fluid out of. Now, the biggest problem with many of these options, especially the budget ones, are that you've got to add ice on a consistent basis, and you've got to add a significant amount of it the warmer the temperature gets. One alternative is actually to buy an ice freezer. Believe it or not, those range between $500 and $800. They are literally the freezer you would put in your basement or garage to store cold food. Fill it up with water, let it run. Before you get in, you unplug it, and then boom, you are good. What's nice about the ice freezer compared to all the competition that we've spoken about is that it comes with internal insulation. Now, a lot of people watch Wim Hof and they go on social media and they see people up to their neck in ice. Unfortunately, that's not really the ideal temperature of an ice bath, at least based on studies. Now, if you look at the studies, the ideal temperature is between 40 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. I have found that I really enjoy it between 40 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. When you get closer to freezing, like it is now, my temperature outside is about 33 degrees Fahrenheit and it is cold. That just becomes a little bit not only too uncomfortable, but you will get almost like freezer burn on your body if you stay in too long. And now it's time. It is time for Fate of the Union, where I tell you if the ice barrel is worth your hard-earned money. Now the ice barrel feels a lot more natural and comfortable to actually be in versus a tub situation. You almost feel like you're floating in a pool. It's a lot more, again, it just feels normal rather than lying down in a tub. The ice barrel is going to be a little bit more difficult to get into and out of than a bath style, like a cold plunge or this water trough. I will say that this does look a lot more aesthetically pleasing on my property than a water trough would, and when this is empty, it's a lot easier to move around. Even though the ice barrel is a fantastic design, it just isn't worth that price tag. Now, if the ice barrel was down to about $500 with free shipping, I'd be recommending it to you because it's such a beautiful package in terms of being able to set it up just about anywhere, and you can relocate it at the drop of a dime once it's empty. But at that $1,000 plus price point, I would just tell you to go towards a freezer rather than going with the ice barrel, because the freezer is going to offer you not only the ability to keep that water cold without adding ice, it's also going to add insulation. Frankly, if you decide ice barrels aren't for you, you still have a beautiful freezer to use. The ice barrel purchase price is frankly just a tough pill to swallow, especially when you compare it to the competition. Looking at a water trough coming in at 1/10 the price, you're going to get 80% of the benefits of that ice barrel, but you're going to save beaucoup bucks. Let me know how you get your ice baths in. And if you came this far in the video, you and I are like Elsa and Anna, Wim Hof and ice baths. We are best friends. Thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.